Good evening, Ukraine. Good morning, California. I'm Jeffrey Wills, former vice-rector of the Ukrainian Catholic University, and your host today for an hour of conversations with УКУ alumni. The goal of УКУ is to form a new generation of Ukrainian leaders with values, and it does that in many ways, in the classroom and outside of it, in collaborative research and in social service. And so today is a chance for us to see how УКУ is going with that mission. УКУ in Lviv is a young institution, but thousands of УКУ alumni have already been fruitful in a wide range of sectors. And I'm looking forward myself to hearing today from some old friends and young graduates too, who were just a small part of that wide range. I also want to welcome the 100 or so international participants in our conversation, among whom are possibly a number of what I would call senior alumni, by which I mean those who attended УКУ programs in Rome under Patriarch Joseph Slipei in the 1960s and 70s. Perhaps in a future program, we'll be able to hear what those alumni felt about УКУ. Today's program is rather full, but also compact. In the course of an hour, we will hear briefly from 6 alumni about what they are doing in the fields of education, church, business, and the nonprofit sector, as well as receive some overviews from university leaders and enjoy a moment of music. Before we start our program, let me say a few words about technical issues. To reduce any background noises during the presentations, the online microphones will be on mute, and then we'll open the mics for the question period at the end. But during the presentations, you are already welcome to pose questions or make comments in the chat window. Inya Chahada, the growth officer of the Ukrainian Catholic Education Foundation, will be helping me collect those questions. Depending on your interface, as you probably know already, chat should be one of those options at the bottom or top of your screen, perhaps under something called More. Our working language will be English, but you are certainly free to make comments orally or in writing in Ukrainian. And of course, I want to thank Volodymyr Bokla and the IT team at УКУ for assisting us with technical arrangements today. So without further ado, let me now turn the microphone over to Father Bogdan Pracha, rector of the university, for a few words of welcome.
Yes, listen to me. Yes. Okay. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
Their benefactors, their friends, their colleagues, their bishop and sister, and your our brilliant graduated. As you may know, I usually have a lot of meetings with our students. And I want to share with you that they are really proud to be an essential part of our community. However, from my point of view, there is no better happiness than being УКУ alumni. In this case, I want to ask you for a small reflection dedicated to this question. Do you feel proud to be УКУ alumni? What does it mean for you? Honestly speaking, I feel clearly, even from our small talks, that our graduates are fully dedicated to our community. And we are trying to change this world together. Let's do it. We are waiting for your successful stories, for your witness. And I hope that at some point we will be able to welcome you all on УКУ campus to enjoy offline presence and communication. May God bless you. Thank you.
And so I think we have now a prayer.
Oh.
Що всюди си все наповняєш, скарби ніби життя подателю, прийди, селися в нас, і очисти нас від усякої скверни, і спаси благі душі наші.
Amen. Before we hear some individual stories, I would like to invite Dr. Tarasa Dobka to give us an overview of УКУ alumni. УКУ is a young university, but it's already old enough to have statistics. Tarasa Dobka is the senior vice rector of the university and the man who always seems to know both the big picture and all the details of whatever is happening at УКУ. Anna Tarasa.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Glory to Jesus Christ. Hello to everyone. I hope you can see my presentation. Just a second, I will share.
Yeah, go full screen, perhaps.
Just a second. Oh, sorry. Once again. Oh, what's going on?
So.
Just a second, doesn't see the presentation.
Maybe, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have told you to change.
It's okay.
It was good before. Okay.
Now I go full screen.
Yeah, go.
Okay, now it works. Sorry for that. So I'm really pleased to share with you some thoughts and data about УКУ alumni and their impact on the life of the church and society. There are basically two things which most clearly, to my mind, distinguish Catholic universities from their secular peers. These are their explicit commitment to the holistic development of their students, and secondly, their celebration of the community. УКУ endorses Pope Francis' statement that educating is not only filling the head with concepts, but teaching how to use the three languages: language of the mind, of the heart, and of the hand. This educational philosophy is encapsulated in the concept of integral human development, which urges a commitment to flourishing of the whole person and each person. Clemens Sedmak, professor at the University of Notre Dame, a friend and interim director of the Nanovic Institute for European Studies there, in his recent article, Pinot Noir and Dignity Needs, proposed the following image to explain this concept of integral human development. He recounts a story from the 2004 movie Sideways about the complexity of the effort needed to cultivate the grape Pinot Noir and prepare a delicious wine out of it. A quote from the movie: "It is hard to grow. It cannot grow just anywhere, cannot thrive when neglected. It needs constant care and attention. In fact, it can only grow in specific little corners of the world. And only the most patient in nurturing of growers can do it. With such patient nurturing, its flavors are most haunting and brilliant and thrilling and subtle," end of quote. And Clemens Sedmak goes on, I'm quoting, there is a grape that is hard to grow, but will give you amazing results, rewarding the effort. There is so much more to great wine than grape plus climate. You need to find the right soil, look for the appropriate space, offer care and accompaniment, and show patience and attention. And then the outcome will be stunning. How much more it's true about growing or cultivating people. Just as in the case of Pinot Noir, it may take intensive accompaniment and great effort to ensure that a young person can flourish. But the results, as you will see, could be amazing. The most valuable assets of Ukraine are not natural resources, but people with their intelligence, ingenuity, motivation, moral integrity, and creativity. We keep saying with Horace that laws without morals are useless. It's not enough to substitute one procedure for another. There is a great need for people who look at success in life, not only as in their being faster, more efficient, more cost-effective, or more useful, but who appreciate human life in terms of its being more beautiful, more interesting, more humane, and more noble. УКУ grows people of different sort and flavor. Some of them are Pinot Noir people, others may be Cabernet or Chardonnay people, still others show their own very specific talents and vocations. But in general, we hope that УКУ serves as a life-changing story for young people and enables them to encounter the world and their role in it with joy, responsibility, gratitude, hospitality, spiritual strength, and freedom. Since УКУ's first commencement ceremony in 1999, there are 3,582 people who graduated from УКУ's 6 faculties and who were awarded almost 5,300 diplomas while having studied at more than 30 degree programs. As you can see, УКУ is still a relatively small university, but the number of graduates is steadily growing each year. In September 2020, last year, УКУ launched its new strategy, 2025, a serving university, sending a clear message that education today is more than preservation, transfer, or creation of new knowledge. It is also about the contribution which an educational institution makes to society, primarily with the help of its alumni. УКУ is going to measure its success in its new strategy, not so much in terms of its quantitative growth, but based on its social impact, both locally and globally. And here, alumni and what they do matter immensely. First Church, for many years, we enjoy a close collaboration with the Lviv Holy Spirit Lviv Theological Seminary, which graduated more than 570 seminarians, future priests. And many of them already have become priests, which is almost a quarter of the clergy, current clergy of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. By educating future priests, providing capacity building programs for vital church communities, УКУ helps to create an outward, more welcoming, professional, and engaged church, which could maintain constant dialogue with society and not remain self-referential. 3 of our graduates and seminary graduates became bishops. Many of them work in leadership positions in various areas of ecclesiastical life. Like you can see Taras Timo, Father Andriy Nagirnyak, or Sister Teodora Shulak, and many more. NGO sector, it is populated, I would say, with УКУ graduates. And this is no wonder, because they respond well to УКУ's 3S leadership model, свідчити, служити, спілкуватися, witnessing, serving, communicating. And what is even more important, many of them also start their own social projects or engage in social entrepreneurship. Some work in education, some work in youth development, others like Andriy Levitsky in his workshop, Woodlock social workshop, help people who were alcohol or drug addicted to start their life anew, to get their first job after the treatment, and spend part of their income to social causes, like helping families in need. Others, like Sister Julia Flack, establish and run family-type orphanages, and some of their students, their kids, they become also students of the Ukrainian Catholic University. Other lead such organization as Lviv Educational Foundation, which actually becomes force for good in many, many different causes, both for society and the church. And Mariana Kachak is a graduate of УКУ, is a leader of this, director of this organization. УКУ in a sense, УКУ is new to political life, УКУ graduates, but it's already happening, and also to the legal area. But that's because we have only a few classes, graduation classes of the public management, public administration school, and our law school. But it's already important that some of these graduates already are involved in political life and became, seven of them became MPs of the Verkhovna Rada, of the new convocation, but also what is also important on the level of local government and administration. Our graduates from law school work for different international and national law firm and companies, in consulting, in as well as in human rights organization and different government agencies. What is important, they most of them got work immediately, got job immediately after their graduation. Business. So Lviv Business School is well known for making a difference in life of its graduates and companies they work for. And that's also no wonder, because, you know, motto of the school from the very beginning is, sounds like growing companies, but by growing people. This is an УКУ approach. They also try to instill entrepreneurial mindset into the graduates so that they look for opportunities in life and go beyond what is usual or what is a comfort zone. So Lviv Business School trains 150 students in 5 master programs, and importantly, it engages also in different national reform, like healthcare reform in Ukraine, retraining healthcare managers for this reform and for the hospitals. The new Center of Entrepreneurship, as I mentioned, helps our students to acquire this entrepreneurial mindset so that they could change things for the better. What is also important, that graduates who are successful in their business, are leaders in their business, they come back to the university and they help to grow other projects, like Oleg Mikulishin helps quite a lot with UKU School of Bioethics. Also by sending his employees to upgrade their skills at the school, in the school's program. We are proud of our graduates, many of whom become mentors for our current students, give us their time, share with us their professional knowledge and skills. It is our alumni who testify to the life-giving spirit of УКУ. It is them who bring the УКУ culture and ethos into their professional organizations. It is our alumni who become УКУ ambassadors and change makers. And we hope that our alumni will be returning to УКУ for their reunion days, will be joining УКУ Alumni Association, will be sending their children to study at УКУ, will be coming to УКУ for upgrading their skills and sharing their life stories. What a joy is to work in this УКУ vineyard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Taras. So that's a very impressive overview. And I'm sure people want to know or see more about some of those slides and those people. So now I think we can move on to some individual stories, and we have a chance to hear some individual voices. We'll begin with Halia Tesluk. She was one of the very first graduates of УКУ in 1999, at that time still called the Lviv Theological Academy. Despite our very limited resources then, back then, heating in the buildings was optional. She acquired a deep knowledge of biblical languages and went on to do graduate work in Rome and in Berkeley, California, and has taught several courses in foreign universities. And in all this time, she's really been quite a pioneer in a number of fields, as I hope we'll hear. She is an УКУ faculty member, director of the Center for Women's Studies, and was named УКУ Teacher of the Year in 2020, a special honor during a pandemic. Halia, tell us a bit about what you're doing.
Thank you, Dr. Wills, for the introduction. Slava Isusu Christu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is here. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you tonight, and to share a little bit of my story, which I find actually extremely interesting. As Dr. Wills mentioned, actually I belong to the second class of the graduates of Lviv Theological Academy at that time. As you may know, that the Lviv Theological Academy was renamed to the Ukrainian Catholic University in 2002. And it was an invention at that time because we as women were allowed to study theology for the first time in 1,000 history of Ukraine. So that was something unpredictable, unacceptable at that time. And we were actually honored to be among the first. And I remember when I actually ended up at the Pontifical Biblical Institute, there were 5 women studying Bible, and 3 of them were from Ukraine. So that's how it looked then. And I am very happy that nowadays we actually also are very much ahead of our society and of many academic institutions in Ukraine. So as Dr. Wills mentioned, I do teach Bible here, and also I combine my biblical studies, my teaching of the Old Testament with the doing women's studies here. So I try to bring these two academic fields into conversation to find a bridge between them. I'll give you 2 examples. A few years ago, we organized 2 major conferences because we as academics want not to stay within the walls of our doing research, but we want to go to the society and to make our society a better place to live and to challenge some of the stereotypes that actually our society is living still with. So we organized 2 conferences. One conference was actually about the women and their peacemaking role in stitching the society. So we brought over 70 people from the Eastern, Central, and Western Europe to Ukraine, and we actually discussed how women can actually make a change in Ukraine and to fight or to challenge the stereotypes like about the migrants, if women can be leaders in the society. And we had actually presenters from even Africa and the countries of the former Yugoslavia, where the people are still struggling to deal with the traumas of the wars, and Ukraine is also the case. So we actually opened for the women from the other countries that we also are dealing with the same issues, and it's important for us to share our experience and to show, to make a strategic plan for the future. And this conference, and also as Women's Studies program, as you may know, has been funded by Союз Українок Америки, by their generous endowment, and we are happy, and we always thank Soyuzanki for their generosity. Another event that we organized, it was actually a training for psychiatrists, for psychologists, even for priests who work with the women and families who lost their children. So our society is still kind of having taboos on certain things, and one among them is the issue of perinatal or prenatal loss. So it's one family encounters miscarriages or has babies being born premature. It's like no one talks about that, and people tend to actually to hide this trauma from the others. Personally, in our hospitals, we don't have counselors or psychiatrists or psychologists coming to a woman who actually suffered from them to help her personally, to many personal thoughts. But I gave birth to a son who was just less than a kilo. And I was actually, I shared the same room with the women who had their healthy babies with them. And I was alone with having my child somewhere at the hospital. And no one came to me asking me, how am I doing? No one brought me a hope that everything can be good, can be great, or do you need a help? So we organized this training for professionals. With the help of the Life Perspectives. This is a US-based organization, which actually helps all over the US, including church chaplains, to help how to tackle this delicate issue with the people who are actually undergoing this problem. And it was very successful, I should say, because now we have been in touch with the people who participated in this project, and they actually organized at their hospitals and within their NGOs groups of support for these families. And now people talk more about this traumatic experience. And I would like also to say, finally, I know that I love to talk a lot. That's one of the academic vices or professional vices, I would say. Finally, back then, as a student of the Theological Academy, I had a financial support from generous people in the US. And nowadays, our students also do have. I would say that with your help, we are actually making this country better, and the Ukrainian Catholic University is the institution that actually makes it. Thank you so much for your support, and we are very much grateful and look forward also to exchange it with you, what we are doing, and perhaps also to ask you what would you suggest us to do. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Halia. This is just simply amazing work. I think we're all very grateful for your innovative teaching and these projects that you've been describing. So please keep up the good work.
Thank you.
So next we'll hear from Bishop Stepan Sus. I keep wanting to say Father Stepan because he's only been a bishop for a year. In fact, he only graduated from UKU 15 years ago. So I think he was the youngest bishop in the world when he was selected. But before he was even Father Stepan, when he was Brother Stepan, a seminarian, he was already running the chaplaincy at the military academy in Lviv, the Ukrainian equivalent of West Point. The service of his team during the war in Eastern Ukraine has been amazing and received a lot of publicity. And he's now based in Kyiv, but responsible for Ukrainian migrants internationally and parishes in a variety of countries where there is no local bishop. And you may have met him in the United States or elsewhere because he comes every Christmas to help in several parishes here. Stepan, we're delighted to have you with us.
Yeah, so good evening, good morning, glory be to Jesus Christ. So it is a great pleasure for me to take part in our meeting today. My name is Stepan Sus. As Jeffrey mentioned, I am a bishop and head of pastoral migration department of Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. I graduated from the Ukrainian Catholic University and Lviv Holy Spirit Seminary in 2006, exactly 15 years ago. After that, I began my ministry as a military chaplain at the National Army Academy in Lviv. I was interested in special pastoral care, doing what others do not or cannot do. 15 years ago, the word chaplain was less known in Ukrainian society. However, to be a chaplain, in particular, a military chaplain, means to be ready for anything that could happen in pastoral ministry, to be ready for everything. At that time, chaplaincy was like a startup for our entire church, as well as for our students. I am pleased that my other friends, also graduates from UKU and Holy Spirit Seminary, have joined the development of chaplaincy. As a result, in Lviv, our chapel here, and later throughout the church in Ukraine, chaplaincy centers have begun to develop among the military, among students, among orphans, among prisoners, and among people with special needs. Today, no one is surprised if someone introduced himself as a chaplain in Ukraine. The word chaplain became more popular, of course, during the war in the east of Ukraine. Today, more than 50 УКУ graduates are serving as chaplains in some capacity. The Ukrainian Catholic University has taught us to be bold dreamers. We not only desire something, but we seek, fight, and work to make our dreams come true. This is possible when there is a good team with the good interrelationships. At the university, the rector, professors, and teachers not only shared their knowledge with us, but they taught us also how to build relationships correctly. In addition to be extensive network of relationships, communication, meetings, various summer schools that the university has sponsored, it continues to place great emphasis on our relation with God. Thanks to the work of УКУ, every year, more and more people in Ukraine and abroad are learning how to build relationships with God and with people. There are more and more of those who are not afraid to dream and make their dreams come true. I think by supporting УКУ, you support the world where the right relationships are built and where our dreams come true. And thank you for supporting УКУ. And I know that thanks to good benefactors and donors, 15 years ago, many years ago, it was possible for me also to get a good education in УКУ and at the Holy Spirit Seminary, became a good student here, be after priest, and now church called me to be a bishop. So you, many good people done great things for the church and for the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop Stepan. It's really inspiring work. These chaplaincies really have been a life-changing struggle. And finally, now they're in place in all sorts of parts of society. And this team of really 30 priests that Stepan had built before he moved into Kiev as bishop. It's a beautiful work. Next, we'll hear from Maria Makovetska, class of 2005. And she was already committed to working with those in need when she was an undergraduate. And she has continued in that direction, mainly in the area of public health, especially with projects to reduce tuberculosis and AIDS. She's, in my opinion, at least a manager par excellence, involved with running huge USAID grant programs, as well as public campaigns that recruit volunteers and change people one at a time. Marichka, can you work a miracle? And in 5 minutes, can you tell us everything about the last 20 years of your life since you entered УКУ?
That's a challenge, Jeffrey, but I'll try my best. So hello to everyone, glory to Jesus Christ. Hello from city Gaziantep, Turkey. For the moment, I'm working for the humanitarian crisis project in Syria, together with WHO, World Health Organization. So, but still, I'm a huge fan of my Ukrainian Catholic University. And I believe that this investment that I made together with my parents way in 2001, was the best investment in my life and in my development of my professional career. So as Jeffrey mentioned, I graduated from Ukrainian Catholic University in the 2000s as a theologian. And during my education, I was already engaged in different social projects, and I continue doing those projects till now, even if they are volunteering or involving my own funds and capacities. So after УКУ, I entered to Kyiv Mahila Academy for the social work department. And after that, being a student of second year of my master degree, I started working for one of the grassroots organizations working in Ukraine with the people who live with drug addiction. And after that, the theologian started working in healthcare. So basically, I turned my field of interest to tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS, and I was implementing one of the biggest projects in Ukraine, including information campaigns, some projects focusing on health system strengthening connected to health reform that we started 6 years ago in Ukraine, as well as different systematic changes in the regions of Ukraine. So that was some of the background that I used. But the more important what I want to share with you is that something that I learned in УКУ was this values and passion to change the world. Basically, the УКУ gave me the knowledge, gave me the orientation in my life, in my desires, and I understood that with the knowledge together with people who share the same values, the same strategy, you may actually change the world. And that's why I was very focusing in working in different projects impacting lives of people, introducing systemic changes, and something that I would be happy to share with my children, with my friends, and say that, yes, I was there, we did some work, and I'm happy that this work had a great impact on the life of others. So I was happy to have this in my past experience. And after that, when somebody will ask me right now, like, how come up the theologian start working in the healthcare? I would always say that theology, it's actually philosophy which give you access to analytical knowledge. You are well trained in analyzing things. You're well trained in analyzing systems. You may actually educate yourself in other subjects and other domains. But I mean, this capacity of analytical knowledge and creating from the scratch, from some input that you have, some systematic changes and come up with some great outcomes, that's something that I really love in my work. And it's something that I will always say thank you to Catholic University, because it's an institution who really invest on students' life and help them to succeed in their life by introducing knowledge, values, and great capacity to succeed in any project that they will start or initiate or even join as a volunteer. So that's it.
Thank you.
You
did it, a wonderful miracle. So, yep. And of course, we'll need to have more and continuing sessions in the future to capture these details. Like, I didn't even know that you were doing the Syrian project now. And I think УКУ is really becoming international, not just in its support, but its work. Of course, one of our graduates last year one of our students was in El Salvador or Costa Rica. We have people working in a number of different countries, obviously in Western Europe. And today I see online, I'm just amazed. There's people I know.
My colleagues from work, amazed that, well, first of all, they surprised that Ukrainian Catholic University may produce someone who will work in humanitarian crisis projects in Syria in the medical area. And now they believe that they may have someone else joining the project with the same strong background and skills. So thanks to УКУ. And
I'm seeing we have people online today from Canada, England, Poland, the United States. So yeah, the internationalism of Ukraine is, I think, happening, and especially УКУ is a leader in that. Our next speaker is Yaroslav Charkovsky, a young IT businessman who has really adopted УКУ. He graduated from the Innovation and Entrepreneurship program at УКУ's Business School in 2013. And since then, he's provided scholarships for IT students, and he's been a member of the planning team for the Applied Sciences faculty. Unfortunately, yesterday, he found out that he couldn't be with us today. His company's games have over 10 million users, so we're not his only audience. But of course, in Ukraine, there are no problems, just opportunities. So he will not be with us virtually, but rather virtually virtual. i.e. by a recording.
Good day, everyone. My name is Yaroslav Cherkovsky, and I would like to tell you a story about me and УКУ. I'm originally from Lviv, and I lived here most of my life. And I have studied in the National University of Ivan Franko at the mathematics faculty. And at some point, I have decided to go to Norway. I have lived there for 2.5 years. I've been working as a web developer and consultant at the good company, Symphony Solutions. And I was well provided and I had a well-paid job. But I was sure that I want to go back to Ukraine, and I had a feeling that I just don't belong here and my home is there. And I was looking for the opportunities to go to Ukraine. And this is the first time when I heard about УКУ and Lviv Business School. It was kind of hard because it's very hard to leave everything behind and like a well-paid job and so on and go to unknown. But still, I had a feeling that this is the right thing to do. And I applied for that program and I was selected and I even got a scholarship. By the way, thank you very much for that. And this is the time when I finally went back to Ukraine. This was kind of a sign for me that I have to go. So I studied there, and after that, me and my brother, we have founded a business. We founded a company that makes mobile games, which is called Chair Studio. We have 25 people on board now. We have about 10 years of history, and we create mobile games for players all over the world, and primarily in the North America. And when we were about 25 years old, me and my wife, we have decided that it's time to pay back. And we have founded 2 scholarships for the students of applied science faculty in УКУ. And I think that УКУ right now needs support more than ever, because there are a lot of threats and challenges in the world, and specifically in Ukraine. And right now we see that there are more and more people that are coming from УКУ, and they are making positive changes in Ukraine and in the world, but still not enough. And we need much more people to make a huge impact in Ukraine and in the world. We need much more people to do some big things, big changes, and so on. So it's very important to keep supporting УКУ and do not stop the process. And in fact, I think it's very easy to do something good. It doesn't take much to decide to support УКУ. I remember the day when me and my wife have decided that we want to found the scholarships, and that was right after Yaroslav Pritula announced his faculty, applied science faculty in УКУ, and we realized that we want to be part of it, and that we want to participate in something that will definitely change Lviv and then Ukraine in general. And that was really good decision. And I think that these kind of investments are one of the best investments in terms of impact and in terms of internal satisfaction. And what is also interesting is that now my friend also have decided to fund a scholarship that has studied in Lviv Business School. And he decided that after he found out that I'm funding a scholarship. So it's kind of paid forward, and then it will come back. So I thank you very much for helping me becoming successful and giving me the opportunity to help others to try to become successful and provided. Thank you.
Thank you, Yaroslav. I mean, he's a great example of Ukrainians who could be anywhere but want to be in Ukraine. And those people, when they're in Ukraine, they find УКУ. And I think you'll find, if you visit УКУ, you'll find lots of people who have been international and realize that there are a few places in the world more beautiful than Lviv. Next, speaking about one of those voices of Lviv, Roman Lazinski. He's a member of the Ukrainian parliament. More importantly, Roman is one of those rare public officials in Ukraine who is actually qualified for his work. Roman took courses at УКУ's Institute of Leadership and Management, and then did the master's degree in public administration. But my own guess is that the key to his civic activism was much earlier. long before he was a member of the Lviv City Council and before he founded his own political party and before he started running marathons, he spent a decade organizing plast camps. Roman, it's a pleasure and honor to have you with us today.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Wills. Hello to everyone, dear colleagues, dear friends. Tonight or today, I would like to share my stories, how УКУ has crucially changed my life. And I know it may sound too pompous, but it is true. Same as a long time ago, plus Ukrainian Scout organization, УКУ guided the trajectory of my life and work. Plus gave me an understanding of values, teamwork, and the importance of creating change, as well as the opportunity to discover myself. And it was very logical to go to the УКУ since I understood what profession to choose, public governance and politics. And the field where you have much more opportunities to create changes and influence the development of society and state than anywhere else. When I say that УКУ has changed my life, I mean the exact Saturday in July 2015. Then on one of study days at the new УКУ campus on Kozelnitska Street, during the coffee break of political studies, I was invited to a meeting. That was a meeting with civil activists in Lviv, from Lviv, scouts from Plast, protesters against illegal constructions, eco-activists, and other active locals from my native Lviv. And this meeting took place shortly before the local elections to the Lviv City Council. And then I joined the team of the Ukrainian Galician Party, this local party, and I started small, assisted with spreading newspapers and organizing agitation campaign. Soon, I began to help them with electoral activities as a political scientist, and then I was invited to represent them at the elections as the candidate to the Lviv City Council. At that time, I didn't become a local deputy. However, I started my path as a politician, which has lasted for more than 6 years already. Today, I am a member of the Ukrainian parliament from Golos party, and I have important and effective instruments necessary to push those changes for the sake of which I went to the УКУ when preparing myself for professional politics. But УКУ has changed my life not only with the single meeting in July 2015. The university has determined those values that I try to follow now: professionalism, patriotism, and integrity. And at the УКУ, we talked about values a lot. And it left a great imprint on my personality. Integrity is something that tells me what I should and what I should not do when I make political decisions, including when voting for laws. Patriotism, it is about identity. It's a filter through which you pass each decision you make by asking how it will affect our countries tomorrow. And it is an ambiguity in issues of war with Russia, war on corruption, and fight for justice and human rights. Professionalism is about skills. It is about practical experience, feeling of reality, practical cases, metrics of stakeholders, communications, and relation with the public, as well as ability to organize teamwork or just to be a member of a team. Critical analyze absolutely everything. And a studying part of my master's program in УКУ, a master's program of public administration at the School of Public Governance, has let me understand very clearly who is a public servant. And today I open my Google Drive and reread the materials of my master's program. Today I make a video for my YouTube channel with Professor Rozdestvinsky. Since at УКУ we talked about leadership. Today I communicate and cooperate with the УКУ alumni, my group mates and more. And since УКУ is about the social environment where it is completely clear that integrity, patriotism, and professionalism are disease values. And I'm happy that the university is developing further year after year. It lets more students get an education of high quality in Ukraine. That is why I'm very grateful to all donors and all contributors of the УКУ. Thank you for creating the opportunity for us to study and create change in Ukraine. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roman. This is just wonderful. So, everyone, I hope you all know that Roman is only 27 years old. So I think there's still a few years ahead of him that we'll be hearing more from him and about him.
I'm working consistent.
This year, УКУ started an undergraduate program in law, which is the European tradition that Ukraine follows for undergraduate legal studies. But for several years, the УКУ Law School has had a Master of Human Rights degree. One of those graduates is Anna Karachevska. She has put her knowledge and skills to work in very visible ways. She's helped prisoners and families of missing or those killed in the Ato region in eastern Ukraine. She's taught constitutional law at УКУ. She works with a legal clinic to provide legal assistance to vulnerable groups and the УКУ community. And Anna, tell us more about what you have been doing and are doing. You're on mute, I think. Go ahead.
Hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Glory to Jesus Christ. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here. I'm Hannah, I'm 24. I'm a beloved bride-to-be, I hope a professional lawyer and a happy dog owner. But when I look at myself just 3 years ago before obtaining scholarship at УКУ Law School from Anna Babic, I see smart, but very scared and confused young lady that has that feeling that she was born for something great, but without any idea for what exactly or how to pursue it. So I came to УКУ for answers, and thanks to the donors and contributors of УКУ, I got them. Of course, during my studies, I had the opportunity to listen to the best law professors, to participate in and win international competitions, to work with the worldwide known human rights organization in the toughest cases. But these are all visible and external results. The inner changes that happened to me during my studies became much more important because I realized that things you're really good in, for example, law, could transform just from a way to pursue personal goals to a way of serving people. And when I won my first lawsuit for a member of the Ukrainian army, I realized that such serving can make you happy just because you had an opportunity and was able to help someone who was in need. I also developed core principles I would like to follow during my career. They are high quality of my work and moral standards, my faith and parents taught me. And when I see prominent Ukrainian lawyers that are talking about morality as their professional principle, I believe that it's possible to be a professional and high demand lawyer in Ukraine who is at the same time guided by moral standards and ethical rules. There is also one more very personal thing I doubted to share here today, but since it directly points out how УКУ changed my life, I decided to do that. The thing is that a month after my graduation, the illness I was battling with for more than 3 years has returned. And it took me more than 1 year just to find hospital that was ready to conduct my surgery. But because of the help and support from my loving community, from УКУ community, we were able to, for more than last week, raise funds and pay for my hospital treatment. In his epistle to Philippians, St. Paul says, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. And that's exactly what I feel about УКУ. Here in УКУ, we like to say that everyone who once was a teacher or a student here always come back. And I'm not an exception. I came back here at Fontes to the place where I started looking for answers that were important for me. And now I believe I'm helping to do that for our students. I'm mentoring master students who provide free legal aid for vulnerable ones at our legal clinic. And I'm teaching constitutional law for our first year students. Also, to pursue my further professional goals, I'm obtaining PhD degree at Kyiv-Mohyla Academy. And now, when I look back at that confused and scared young lady, I feel that I did everything well, because there is no better place I could be. I'm with the people I love, doing the job I'm interested in for the purpose I believe, and that's just great. However, it's hard to imagine all these great things and achievements without an endless team of love and support from you, our УКУ friends all around the world, because your love and support allow us to share it further. Because of you, we can retranslate this love and support for students we are teaching or for clients we are helping in our legal clinic. So my message here is very simple. Let's just share this chain of love together as long as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Just beautiful, inspiring stories. And I hope everyone in our audience today realizes that this is typical, that alumni are very committed to each other, the institutions serving others, both people who are donating like Yaroslav, and also Maria Mashkovetsky has donated scholarships, but also people like Roman and Yaroslav, and people who are part of these advisory councils to different faculties and programs. And people are coming and speaking, and it continues to be, the university continues to be a home for alumni. And so, really building up a network that includes, I think, many of you overseas who always feel welcome when you come to Lviv. Finally, let me introduce one of our senior alumni who spent his formative years at УКУ in Rome. And then he wanted to keep learning so much that he has spent another 25 years enjoying seminars and intellectual conversations at УКУ in Lviv. I mean, of course, that perpetual student of life, Bishop Boris Gudziak.
Dear Jeffrey, dear friends, I'm listening with great interest and with great emotion to these presentations. And like with many of our supporters, many of these stories I'm hearing for the first time. I just want to thank our supporters for supporting these young people. It's just the beginning. In the last 9 years since I've been away from the university physically, the university has tripled in numbers of programs, numbers of faculty, and number of students. I kind of make the logical conclusion that, I had to leave for the university to grow and receive these new students in new areas. It really is a project that warms one's heart, but it warms one's heart not because it's a project, because it's people. It's hundreds of people that are fostering a service culture. I came on a little late, but I don't know if this was mentioned at the beginning. in the new strategic plan for the university, service learning is at the center of the pedagogical program. And it's always swimming against the current when you speak about sacrifice and service. It's not the majority of society that sees this as the greatest aspiration to serve others. But the witnessing that we've heard today is very encouraging. And I think it's encouraging to our donors. It's encouraging to our friends. So many friends in so many countries. It's wonderful to see today Professor Jerzy Akser, for example, or from Poland, or Kun Jacobs from Flanders. You know, our friends in North America. But hearing these stories is also very important for our students, because this is the really point of differentiation of УКУ. There's many, you know, good universities and tens and hundreds of thousands of students in Ukraine. But the reason why I think all of us are engaged in this community is that УКУ promised to make a difference, and it is delivering on that promise. And whatever the subject, whatever the discipline, the underlying posture and intention is to serve. And I'm very grateful to our graduates who have spoken today, because you encourage us. It's a difficult year. All of us have experienced losses, and our university community lost Ihor Skuchelas, which is still hard to accept. And last spring, 2 of our students died. And you know, yesterday, I think, was the day of the highest number of infections globally throughout the pandemic. So we're not through it yet. But I think, you know, for Adrian Saluk, who has gone through a difficult therapy and illness, or for Sister Christina Sirotinsky, who's a sister servant. The sister servants in the United States a year ago had 21 members. Today they have 16. 5 members died in this past year. For anybody that Zvinka Kristalovic lost her mother. And I express my condolences to you, Zvinka. We haven't had a chance to talk yet. I haven't called you. I'm amiss. But it's been a year of challenges, of losses, but it's also a year of growth, a year of solidarity, a year of resolve. And, you know, Ivan Berezhnitsky is battling through cancer. And I think Ivan and Zvinka and Adrian and Sister, we're all encouraged by what we heard today. We're going to tell other people that. And God bless our faculty, who did incredibly effective crisis management this year. God bless our foundations. God bless our donors, and God bless our students and graduates. You're a source of inspiration to me. And I hope we can stay together, stay the course, because there's a lot of work to be done. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. These reflections have been very inspiring, and now those of us in the international audience can follow up with our questions and thoughts. Feel free to write them in the chat section, and maybe there's a way to voice them as well, I think. But before our question period, we will have a different sort of presentation from 2 alumni, Brother and Sister Andrei and Marichka Pohorilko. They have probably attended more wedding receptions than even Bishop Boris. This presentation will not be in English, but rather in the universal language of music. So those of us online can stand up and move around for 5 minutes, or get out your bandura and play along at home if you want, before we start with our question and answer period.
So, hello everybody. Our story is pretty short. We both graduated history in УКУ. Now we work in tech and play music when we have free time. So we will play you our national dance that everybody dance here in Western Ukraine. So we are only two here. We have only two instruments, but if you have some instrument near you, please enjoy our international orchestra. Yeah. So, and if you already celebrated Easter, you can dance with us.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think I can feel that maybe half of our online participants got up to dance.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you. And now I think our time is keeping moving quickly. We promised to be efficient, so our hour is going, but we have a little bit of time for questions and of our speakers. And let me just check back with Inya if you were able to collect any questions during these presentations.
So Jeffrey, I don't see any questions, but just some wonderful comments of folks who are excited to come and visit УКУ, those who've been inspired by what they heard today, for those encouraged by the words of our alumni. And so again, if anybody does have any questions, we would love to leave some time to have a discussion. But if not, we certainly will leave it on those wonderful words.
Let me go ahead then and ask our panelists, as it were, a question just to, just recall just the way Ramon did, just maybe one brief moment from your time at УКУ that you think has resonated forward in your life, or one person that you met that made a difference. But we'll just be efficient here. If you could just give us a minute of a time capsule. And I don't know who is able to speak first.
May I?
Yes, please.
Dr. Willis, I'd like to mention you because you taught us how to unleaven original old texts and to tackle. Jeffrey Willis taught us Greek and to read the New Testament in original language. And it might seem to some people that it's boring or very complicated, difficult, but Jeffrey made it fun for us. And he inspired also me to pursue my further studies. So I also should thank you for that. So that's the time span that comes right now to my mind. So thank you so much for that. So it can be fun to read old texts and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. This was not meant to be a self-promo moment there, but thank you. I appreciate that, Helena, so much.
Jeffrey, we do have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I did want to address it. It's from Donna Kraczynski, who's a member of the Calgary Friends of УКУ. She's asking for perspective of УКУ's overall influence in Ukraine, given the war, the pandemic, and the economic situation.
So yeah, maybe Ramon, if you're in the public sphere, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we have enough information to be sure, but we all together in the parliament from every faction, from every political parties, working now for preparing for any challenges with war, with pandemic. Unfortunately, to be honest, we don't have enough professional government now, but without politics, we try to work together now to get enough information about the situation on the east border, because some places on the east border we have aggressive and increasing numbers of Russian troops. On another part, we see some manipulation from making news. So we don't should get a panic, but we are working with it.
Thank you. And let me also follow up and say that there's a very active, of course, group of УКУ friends in Kyiv, both graduates, УКУ graduates, and also benefactors and expats and people who support in different ways. So if you are again visiting Ukraine sometime and will be in Kyiv, there's also a chance to meet УКУ, meet there as well. We have an УКУ center. Bishop Stepan, any thoughts on that question? Is he still with Bishop Stepan? This question about УКУ's overall influence in Ukraine, given the war and the pandemic.
I think that the situation, Ukrainian Catholic University tries to be like place which is giving example for city government, other organizations, how to cope with challenges of COVID-19 and to provide a social ministry as well, because at the very beginning of this pandemic, Ukrainian society and authorities, they really were waiting for some good example, and those who will just tell what to do the next year. And I think the УКУ at the different church institutions were places for good ideas how to cope with all these challenges. And today I think that many people try to follow the good example of УКУ this way.
Thank you. And I see there's another question about the percentage of УКУ students who leave Ukraine, seek employment abroad, or stay to work in УКУ. I don't know if there's specific numbers on that, but my experience is that quite a number of people go abroad, but do come back. They go abroad to study. They're people who want to be. They see that Ukraine is a land of opportunity, and they come back to make a difference. Maybe Marichka, you can talk about the situation as you see it.
Thank you. Well, actually, I never had intention to leave Ukraine. So actually, it's my first international assignment abroad in Turkey, working for Syrian project. But even being in distance, I would say that I was always in Ukraine, because, for example, I'm one of those 6 girls who initiate social projects, Hair for Share, helping children who lost their hair as effect of chemotherapy. And that's some projects that I really like to invest my time, money, and things to helping children around the Ukraine, having some nice comfort life while they're going through really exhausting therapy, chemotherapy. And I'm happy that last year, we was able to expand our help also to women who go through the breast cancer and other types of cancer and losing their hair. So and what is more important, that all the founders of these projects are former graduates of УКУ within different years. And actually I was surprised because a few of them I didn't know before. And when we start collaborating and creating this project, we understood that we have the same idea. And it was wonderful that we appear to be the former students of УКУ, which was a rather huge benefit because we share the same values. So that's my story. In addition to that, I know that there is bunch of my classmates from УКУ, they also working abroad. Some in US, some in Canada, but we recently meet each other in УКУ banquets during the fundraising activities for the УКУ, and I'm happy each time to see them online, offline. Well, this time, unfortunately, online. But I'm happy that my classmates as well are supporting the УКУ, because for me, it means that if you have this investments once in your life, it's always better to give it back, unless you have such chance. Because I'm seeing a lot of students who really want to have a good education, and unfortunately, they don't have money, they don't have sometimes parents able to support them. That's why these kind of donations are very important to give students this opportunity to have better education, to have better job, sometimes better placement in society. And I'm very happy that those students who really want to change something in future, they always turn to Ukraine, they're always helping, and they're always around. Because when I see people engage in different social projects, I'm always see people who somehow connected to Ukrainian Catholic University, to my safety bubble, as we try to say, like now in this kind of world. And it's always nice to see some old faces around.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, if I may, to add one remark to this response to a question about alumni going or working abroad. So, quite often we are happy that they are going actually abroad, because I can give you an example of, Paris eparchy, or now Philadelphia eparchy. People were going to support, to work, to serve, and to support Bishop Boris, in his endeavor for example, to revive Paris eparchy, and some graduates they serve there as priests or helping priests. So in this sense, I think like UGCC being a global church, we expect our graduates to be as global as UGCC and going where our Ukrainian diaspora is and making themselves available, if possible, also to the needs of people and of Ukrainians, especially all over the world.
Well said, well said. And I think with that international perspective, we will close up our time today. Our hour has gone by so quickly with all these wonderful presentations. I want to thank all of our speakers and our participants in the online audience, and of course the staff at УКУ and UCEF in different countries. I will sign off now, but for those of you who missed the slideshow we had at the beginning, please stay on for some images of life at УКУ. Until next time.